okay. Kind of is. And I just said, maybe just sign up. I don't think he told me how much.
Hey, Michael.
Okay, thank you. That's it.
Hey, Doris. How you doing?
Okay. Hey, Rosie.
Hello.
Okay.
Bakery opening up Adams and drink soon.
I mean, what's funny, he never said my own fault.
See you tomorrow.
Bye.
Okay.
Have you guys started? Oops, 7 o'clock.
We're logged in and we're streaming to YouTube. So whenever you're ready.
Okay.
We can wait. I'm just letting you know we're all set.
No, it's all neat one.
Now, I texted Hunter, reminded him that art week was happening tonight. He needed to bring the ideas. He said unfortunately he couldn't make it, so.
Okay.
Good evening.
Hey, Michael.
Good evening, Michael.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Good. Didn't know if I was going to make it. Monday night is jujitsu.
Okay. We have to do the same thing like at the meeting, approve the minutes? We don't have the minutes, do we?
No, but we can share the agenda.
Okay, let's open the meeting up at 7 o'clock, 3 after 7.
Okay, I guess that's all we have.
Okay, welcome and call to order, a review of the agenda. So welcome, everybody. Call the meeting to order. And we have the agenda. Can you see the agenda, Michael?
Yes.
Item number 2, public comments. Any public comments?
Yeah. Yeah, I've got one. I've got a peeve. And I've been kind of holding back the last few weeks. And if I say what I want to say, then the challenge back to me is, well, what are you going to do about it? And I don't have an answer. So I'm not really sure what good it does, but I just want to voice my opinion since we're a family, so to speak. So here's my problem. I want to see more community participation. I'm not sure how we get there, but I think it needs to be an area that we need to focus on. And I'm disappointed in the direction that we're headed, not just this committee, but as a UNNC organization. The move to go more to Zoom for attendance bothers me. When I joined this group, we were meeting in Western, and there were people from the community sitting in on the meeting. And I thought that's what this was about. And in my opinion, we've become a sterile group just a sterile group. And I don't know how we fix that.
If I could just, a point of order, this is general comments, so
I understand.
we can address Michael's, maybe under old business,
Yes.
if you want.
Okay.
As in our regular general meeting, you know, Michael, that persons making comments under general public comment, they can, but there's no back and forth discussion on it.
Oh, I
So,
see. Okay, that's fine. It's, I'm not well versed in Robert's rules. It's just been something that I want to kind of, I think we need to work on this. And I don't know how else to present it. I'm sorry.
well, as Teresa just suggested, maybe we can go in depth under old business because we
Okay.
have this subject before.
Okay.
All right, moving on to item 3.
I have.
Oh, I'm sorry, Rosie, go ahead.
I just want to remind people to use the free My LA 311 to call in those ugly, bulky items that are sitting on your front of your business, in front of your home, on the corner. It does not have to belong to you. You can call it in for any area. It just makes our neighborhoods look so much tidier when those items are being picked up.
Thank you, Rosie. Anyone else online have a comment? Seeing none, move on to item 3. Review UNNC survey regarding possible events, discussion and possible action.
Well, Hunter's not here, so we can't talk about it. We should just talk about the event you want to do in Leslie Shaw.
Well, I was gonna do that under
Number 4?
4 or 5, but they can all run together. I mentioned at our general board meeting about having an information day in Leslie Shaw Park. We had talked about, or I had mentioned, having a shredding day in Leslie Shaw Park because we don't have any events in that park very often. We used to have a lot, but coming out of the pandemic, we haven't had too many events in Leslie Shaw. So we had talked about a shredding personal documents event, but there's going to be one on March 23rd sponsored by the Sentinel, and they have asked me to help get the word out about that. And so since they're already doing that, I thought maybe we could do an information day in Leslie Shaw Park and maybe have a food truck. I brought it up at our general board meeting and it seemed as though it was well received. What I mean by information day is to have like the Bureau of Sanitation come out and pass out those flyers about
Resource fair.
bulky items. And also those mulch pails that we have helped them pass out at other events. Have the Department of Water and Power come out and talk about rebates that a lot of residents don't know about. Department of Aging has a rapid response program where they give free meals to seniors. You have to be at least 65 years of age and they will deliver 5 meals per week to your doorstep. And different other city agencies like that. I've already contacted Renee Shackelford, who has been very helpful in sanitation and helping us in other events, and it was well received by her. I've sent out a notification to DWP, have not heard back from them yet, and plan to send out a request to a couple of other agencies. I think that's my idea, to have it maybe the first week in Saturday, in June, on the first week in June on a Saturday. But if anybody has concerns about that or have other ideas, I'm open to discuss that.
So June the 1st?
Yeah.
I think that's a great idea.
Okay.
Yeah, a resource fair would be great. I also noticed how there's a lot of neighbors who have fruit trees and they're either can't harvest it or they're way up the top. And there aren't organizations that will come and harvest those trees. So I think that would be great to maybe invite them also to the event.
The micro farm on Degman, you talking about?
No, it's just, I've been to a couple events, prior to COVID and where they come and they will actually harvest the fruit. Because
Okay.
a lot of people you
What
see,
organization is
I
that?
don't know the exact name, but I have seen it, because you see some of them are like 10, 12, 13 feet tall, and the fruit is just there basically rotting, because no one's gonna get up there and get it.
Like on
But
my
they
tree.
will get up there and they will harvest the tree for you.
And the problem with the, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Possibly, I will try to look for the information.
I can get with Rosie.
That would be good.
Yeah. Michael, did you say something?
Yeah, I was gonna say the problem with that, I think it's a great idea, but the problem with that seems like people feeling comfortable letting other people on their property to perform that. And I'm not sure how we cross that barrier. How do
Well,
we encourage people to let this happen so that we can get it organized?
Well, some of those trees are almost falling on their homes, and some of them are just so high up, it could be in danger to falling on their homes. So that may be kind of an angle of let's help you get this tree, harvested so that it won't be all over the place.
Oh, I understand that completely. I think it's a great idea, but I'm talking about Mr. or Mrs. Smith, who's been in that house forever, and they don't, the fruit is there, just as you said. How do we get Mrs. Smith to let someone come on her property and harvest that fruit? How do we cross that barrier?
Well, either the organization either came into that situation before, or we're not gonna deal with Mrs. Smith. If you don't want nobody on property, we're not gonna make you have someone on your property. That's just plain and simple.
But maybe Mrs. Smith says, well, nobody asked me.
Well, then when we asking, that's the whole point. We're asking you, Mrs. Smith, to allow them to come on your property to harvest your fruit. If she says no, the organization, whatever they do, if they can convince her, fine. If they can't, fine.
Okay, I'm fine with that. But how do we do that? How do we ask Mrs. Smith?
Hold on, Michael. I don't think she's talking about individual people coming onto Mrs. Smith's property. I think she's speaking of
The organization.
agencies, organizations that do that contact Mrs. Smith to
Right.
harvest fruit.
Okay, do we know who they are?
I can find the information. I've seen it several times.
Oh, okay, okay.
They can
I
have
didn't
a
understand.
table. I'm thinking they could have a table at the resource fair.
Right.
And if I'm there and I'm a senior citizen, or I just have too many fruit trees, I can say, oh, I'd like to schedule a day for you to come and get it. And then maybe they pick it up and then they take it to the farmer's market or to some other area where it can be donated. So it would be my choice to engage with them once we find.
Right.
So would this be an event, Dolores?
What?
This resource fair? I'm just thinking of the logistics and the paperwork that we need to do on
Yes, an event,
an event.
I guess. That's what you could call it.
I don't
I don't know
know,
what
I
the
just,
technical term is.
if it's an event, then I know that there's a lot of different documents, I just wanna make sure I get everything, I mean, I can help with that. And if we wanna do like a taco truck, or what, do we wanna have some kind of food truck,
Right.
okay, and
A pizza or a taco or hot dogs or something like that, and they would be parked on the street, and we could get the city to block off that block, yeah, right by the library. From the library on down to the end where that signal light is, the food truck would be there. And then the tables or booths would be up on the grounds in the park.
so we'd have to coordinate with CD10 to provide the tables or to
Yes.
do all of that.
I have been in contact with Eric about that. He thought it was a good idea, but because of the election, we decided to put off having a meeting with him, or me bringing this forth with him again. Now that the election primary is over, then I'm going to get in contact with him again with regards to that.
So I can start getting the paperwork and talk to the city clerk and find out what we need for the food truck, and if we're gonna have to have a business license or all of that stuff, so we don't get caught up in
Okay.
what we have in the past.
Okay.
So I'll find out from her exactly what we need to be able to do it.
Okay.
And the city does have partners. The city does have partners who have already vetted through them. They have partners already too.
Yeah, but maybe we get CD10 to pay for, like AAA rentals, to pay for the tables or pay for the.
Right,
Oh, yeah.
but you're talking about the food, right?
Right, yes,
Oh.
they have vendors that they've already vetted, that's on their list.
I've asked about
Where
that
is that?
before, and they've said that they don't have a list. That's what I've been
When
told.
I was doing the stuff they had the list.
Who did you talk to, Dunn or city clerk?
No, it was, something that me and, can't think of his name, lives right now. We would talk, I can't think of his name, he used to do a lot of stuff with me. I'll look through some of my emails.
Okay.
Because
Is that
nobody
not
at Dunn seems to know anything about a list. I've asked.
Oh, yeah, maybe, yeah, okay.
Maybe they're just, well, we
Yeah,
are
certain
being
I can
recorded.
places
ask,
that they
I'll
go
ask
through.
Alfonso again if there's a list of pre-approved vendors that we can use.
Mhm.
That would make it easier dealing with the clerk.
And I seem to think, remember that I was at a conference. It might have been the Congress of Neighborhoods. It might have been something else. There was a lady from a department in the city that said that if there is a particular restaurant or vendor that you are aware of, send them to me, send them to the city, and we can get them through the process to get certified, and then you can use them. But that was a couple of years ago. I don't remember that lady or the department. So, and she wasn't with Dunn. She was in another department in the city. So,
I don't know, I'll reach out to Alfonso and I'll talk to the city clerk.
okay.
I'll take on the other two names.
Okay, entrance. Pre-approved vendors
Mhm.
and food requirements. Food vendor requirements.
Yeah, probably the same thing unless they added more things when we did those. Meet your neighbors. Requirements we have to have for the meet the neighbors, you have to have,
Oh, yeah,
yeah, the insurance and.
we know about that.
Well, do we need insurance? Are we gonna need an insurance policy?
Only for the truck, I think.
I think it was just
Only
the
for the
food, people
food.
had to, they had to have.
But these other departments will be coming
Certificate.
from the city.
Serve safe certificate.
Yeah. That's all I have with regards to what I've been checking on with regards to that. What's next on the agenda?
An update. So I've ordered the T-shirts and I paid for last Friday for the canopy and the flag. He does have a couple of questions about the design.
Mhm.
So I told him we were having a meeting, so I'll talk to the group. On the flag, do we want the graphics that are available that Raheem prepared? They're in the right format, the
Mhm.
right pixelation or whatever it is. They have all of that. So do we want UNNC coming down like this? Or do we want it like this? The flag is like this, it's the 10-foot tall flag. So we can have UNNC, or we also have the other graphic.
Do you have an example of that?
We have this graphic,
Mhm.
we can have this on the flag,
Mhm.
long ways. We can have this, and they're not on this computer, but we have this graphic.
Can you share that, Teresa? Is it impossible to do? Or just turn your computer toward the camera so I can see it, if you don't mind.
So you see the screen now, right, Michael?
Yes,
Okay, so it can be this graphic on its side.
I don't have a graphic, I have you.
You don't see the UNNC, the neighborhood council on
No,
this?
I'm looking at you right now, Dolores.
So
Now,
when
I see, oh no, that's not it. If you turn your screen toward the camera, I can probably see what you see.
but the computer screen is not what's given the visual. It's the Polycom system with the camera, the integrated camera. Let me go to our website and see if I can find something on that.
Oh, well, we can, we don't have to, do we have to make that decision this minute?
Oh, no, not this minute. We can,
Oh, okay, then that's fine. I mean, I was just trying to follow what you were talking about. I think that letters running vertically is fine, except I think it may raise the question, what does UNNC stand for? And so if we're not clear with that, then looking at UNNC may not be very helpful in itself.
okay, so what is your solution or?
I don't have one. I just wanted to see what you were presenting so that then maybe I could help with the solution. But right now, I'm just looking at people. That's all.
Do you possibly have a picture of the flags that you're speaking of? What it was?
Yeah, let me just pull it up.
Hold on, she's gonna see if she can find an example.
Okay.
So like,
T-shirts, canopy flag. You guys ordered
No, the canopy.
tablecloth?
No, we didn't. We spent $3,200. Our budget was 35. We have not ordered tablecloth.
right,
Okay.
that was on our plan though.
Okay, and
Let me just
So
send it to
the-
you.
We haven't ordered
There.
we haven't ordered any swag to go in the bags yet. We may have to go back for that.
Okay. I'm gonna have a banner. Alright.
Let's see, I don't have anything else in here to Dolores from earlier this year.
Well, Teresa, we could do this in the morning. You can send me a couple of images and I can give you some feedback.
Or you know what else? I can just make the decision myself, Michael. If you want to meet me over there, that would be great.
It'll have to be tight. I've got a tight morning. What time are you thinking?
Example, email it to him. Or email it to
Yes,
everybody.
but I will just say this. Michael and Ed are the ones who asked for the flag.
Mhm.
I have shared before all of the designs that Raheem put together. That's, they can only use what they have. We're not asking them to redesign a logo for us.
I'm not
So-
either. I'm not trying to be difficult. I just don't have anything to see. I'm just wondering what it is that we're deciding on. That's all.
I'm going to try to pull up what we're trying to decide. We're not trying to decide anything. I'm going to make the decision myself on the flag. If we want to make a decision about anything, it can be the logo that's going around the four sides of the canopy.
Oh, hold on for a second. A minute ago, you just asked about the flag and what the choices were. Now you're saying you're going to make the decision
I'm
anyway?
just gonna
Hold it.
I'm not clear.
Let's not get into that. Remember, we're being recorded.
I
So the
understand.
flag is a 10-foot high flag, Teresa.
Yes.
And you're talking about the letters going under each other, UNNC. Is that what you mean? Okay, so when it says U, will it say United on the side of it, or it's just the letters UNNC?
That's my question.
I'm going to try to pull up our website. So we can have the letters like this.
Can you see that, Michael?
Yes, I can. So you're talking about the boxed UNNC, UN, and then below it NC, and then United Neighborhood Council. And
This-
yes,
This box here, UNNC, United Neighborhood Council, can be turned on its side if we want to have that. We can just have these four letters, the U, the N, the C, straight up, or we can have those four letters on its side.
right.
We can, I'm sure somewhere we have unnc.org and.
No. Can I offer some feedback? Scroll back up. Okay, if you take the graphic that's across the freeway and turn it and make it a vertical a presentation with UNNC, I don't think that's clear. Now, if you want to
So what
take,
Go ahead.
if you want to take the upper left-hand corner and you want to put UN on one line, NC on another line, and then underneath that say United Neighborhoods Council, I think that's clearer than the other, than just putting that graphic UNNC up and down. I don't think that's clear at all.
I think that sounds like a different design than what we already have,
Right.
and that would
Okay.
require more money.
Well, all I'm asking is, what design do we have? I'm not clear on exactly what the direction that they're going to print the flag with. That's all I'm
So-
asking.
Okay, let me ask Teresa, because I don't recall. I know we hashed it around a couple of meetings ago. Teresa, when you say lay it on its side, will the United Neighborhood Council be spelled out like this, like the logo?
Let me just say, if we want to ask them to design it, we can pay, it's $150. We can use some of our funds and have him design it the way we want. Other than that, he is going to use the logos that were designed by Raheem, and that is the file they have. They have it in JPEG, a RAW file, a PDF. That is what they have. If we want another format, then we're going to have to pay for the design on that.
Nobody's asking for that, Teresa. I'm just asking to see what they have.
Okay, Michael.
Michael, listen, believe me, if you're so concerned about this, which I am very appreciative that you are, you have been there before. I'm sure you can talk to Esteban and say, hey, this is what you think would look nice.
No, you're missing my point
And we would all
entirely.
be good with that.
You're missing my point entirely. All I'm asking to see is what they have. That's all.
I think what I'm asking is, let's say you get it from AAA and flag, and then say, what is the design? Like, what does the flag itself, just plain with nothing on it, looks like? Then we can visualize how that would look. Do you?
Been there, done that. I was there when we made the decision to go with the flag. I was there. All I'm asking for is the format that's going to go on the flag. And right now, I'm not clear.
Because a decision hasn't been made, that's why I came back, and we're trying to make the decision now. You can go with these four letters right there. We can go with this.
Okay.
And when you say this, it will say the UNNC, and then it would have United Neighborhoods Neighborhood Council.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
I understand that.
That's what
Now,
we need.
let me say this.
No, is that design?
No, they have that format,
Okay,
and
well,
then they have this format.
Okay, let's
Okay.
read them out.
The corner, the optic in the upper left-hand corner runs left to right. The flag runs up and down. There's a difference in the formatting and the layout. Okay, if you try to squeeze, you can't just turn it on its side, and it's not going to make any sense. And if you're going to take the graphic UNNC and put it on the top and put United Neighborhood Councils underneath it, I get that too, but it still wants to stretch left to right with a flag that wants to run up and down. And I'd just like to see
Well,
that.
then what you're talking about is a new design. Am I
No,
correct?
no. How hard is this? I'm just asking to see what they have. I can't visualize how the flag is going to look. So how can I agree on something that I can't understand?
Then you know what? Tomorrow when I talk to Esteban, I will ask him to send us a couple of different configurations, and then we can discuss it.
I'm fine with that, Teresa.
Not at the next, let's do it via
No,
email.
via email.
Okay.
I'm fine with that. I'm
That's
fine with that.
satisfactory.
Yes, I just want to see before we make a decision what we're
Okay.
deciding on. That's all.
I think we have one that says UNNC.org, and that one actually may be better than just the 4 characters.
Okay.
So,
Can you include that in the email?
No, I can, when I talk to Esteban, I can say, can you put the UNNC.org? Can you put the 4? And what one do you think is best, Esteban? You're the one creating the flag, and your expertise, what one would look the best? But I don't recommend we just put UNNC.
No, I agree with you. I agree with that. See, the problem isn't to write it out left to right, the font may have to be too small that you can't read it. And
Okay,
that's
why are
the
we going
question.
back? Oh, we had agreed that you were gonna email us samples
I am.
to look at.
Okay, that's perfect.
Okay,
That's fine.
moving on.
Sorry, now I had one more thing, Dolores,
Go
sorry.
ahead.
The canopy, design, we have 4 sides. One side is going to say UNNC.
Mhm.
The other side will be the main graphic that we just had with UNNC, United Neighborhoods Neighborhood Council.
Mhm.
And I know we had talked before about having a map or having some other kind of, so that was gonna be the 4 sides. 2 sides with UNNC,
Okay.
and then 2 sides with the longer UNNC, United Neighborhoods spelled out. We had talked about having some kind of map or something else on the top part.
Right.
Michael, did you or Ed do that?
Ed? Who's Ed?
Ed Saunders.
No.
Okay,
The last thing I recall is that there was possibility that there was going to be a drop down behind the tent that showed the flag. Now that, I don't remember that ever being decided. I think there was a discussion with having the district map or the neighborhood map superimposed across the top sections, but I don't remember any decision ever being made about it. Maybe I missed a meeting, I don't know.
We did talk about a map at the top.
Yes. It was talked about, I remember. But there was also, you can't see me, I'm moving my hands. There was a possibility of a square that was hanging at the back of the tent that had the map on it. There was talk of that as well. Now, I don't know where that went because I'm not sure if that was affecting the cost or whatever. Like I said, I may have missed a meeting or two, but those 2 options were being bantered about.
well, our budget's up to 3,500, we're at 3,200. And we have not purchased any, right now, I think in storage, we have pens and flashlights. So if I were to recommend something, it would be some additional handout items.
So
Oh, yeah.
are we talking about scrapping the map entirely?
If somebody wants to work on the design, that would be,
There's no design, it's just the superimposed district map on the top section, right?
The map that we already have that's in color.
Yes. The one I saw last night. I'm looking at one right now on my wall.
what is the pixelation on that?
I have no idea.
JPEG?
I have no
Yeah,
idea.
Either, and I'm sure that that's gonna make a difference for them when they go to print something that's this large.
Hmm. I don't know enough about that to comment on that.
Can we just ask him
Sure.
if there were additional costs for that? I mean,
Well, yes, I can ask, what are you recommending? A drop down attached to the
No.
canopy?
I don't think we made a decision about a drop down. I do know that we had all agreed about having a map on the top.
That's fine with me. And I think they had talked about including that, but I'm not certain. We can ask the question, right?
Yes, and find out costs.
Yeah.
Anything else on the,
Laura asked me to remind everyone that the Rediscovery Center, which is located in the Gramercy Park, Gramercy apartment buildings that we have our meeting, that they are having something on Earth Day, April 21st, and that the environmental committee will be participating. They'll have a table there, and that outreach, if outreach could support their participation.
in what way? Did she say?
No, I just assumed Facebook or, I don't know, she just asked me.
I'll ask her.
Yeah.
I was looking through a few things from outreach. And there's a little pamphlets. They were just something that we had printed out in different colors in English and Spanish. It was like neighborhood rules, like, not parking on the grass, and we have the codes for the city. And we had just printed those on, and then it's a four threes. I'm gonna try to email that to you. See, that could be something that could be printed and put into your swag bags.
Okay. And you were gonna send me a list of businesses on Jefferson
Oh, yeah.
Boulevard too.
And has anyone provided Sarah with photos? Sarah Long Henry?
Not yet. She
So
said
she's out of town.
Huh?
Yeah, she's out to the 18th, so.
She would, yeah. She told me at the board meeting. I have a couple of pictures, but I asked her how many pictures she wanted, but she never did say one way or the other. And we don't have too many pictures from the new board. Most of the pictures that I have are from way back years ago. I don't know if we want to use those or not. Anything else on the supplies that we were going to get? Nothing else?
I don't have anything.
Okay. What's next on the agenda?
Michael suggested that we come up with a new way to engage our community.
Oh, that on the old business? Michael,
Yes,
back to
yeah,
your public comment
Yeah.
about ways to engage the community.
yeah.
You talked about your concern, but you didn't have any ideas of how to do
Well,
that.
that's not necessarily true.
Okay.
All I can do is express my frustration. That's all it is. I think that I'm disappointed that we're not getting any community participation. It's just us. I mean, we have 4 people now in a community outreach meeting. That's fine. But what are we doing to bring the community into the meetings? We're sitting at once a month at Gramercy, and we're talking amongst ourselves. And we just recently decided to even cut back on that so that people are sitting at their homes. And I understand I'm doing it right now. That, in order to, in my opinion, engage the group, we need to be in person and we need to be encouraging people to come. And I have frustration with that. And my challenge is, what can we do to wake up our community?
Well, sorry.
I have been struggling with that for a while, Michael, ever since I took on the responsibility of outreach. Now, what I currently do when I get updates from Assemblyman Isaac Bryan, I get stuff from our new senator,
Kamala.
no, not Kamlager, the other one. I forgot her
Smallwood.
name, Smallwood. So I get stuff from Smallwood, from Holly Mitchell, Kamlager, and I get updates from CD10. And whenever there are activities that are going on, including what UNNC is doing, it's posted on my personal Facebook page, on UNNC's Facebook page, in Jefferson Park, Historic Jefferson Park, Greater Jefferson Park, Kenny Heights, Western Heights, and Sugar Hill website. And I send information to Arlington Heights. I don't have access to their website on Facebook. I send it to them in Messenger in hopes that they will post it on the website for the community. So other than that, I don't know how else we can engage the community. We can't drag them to that's going on. And my concern is not being able to access our stakeholders that are not on social media, because that's mainly how we communicate. If you could come up with some ideas about how we can get to those folks, I'm open to that. There has been some suggestions in the past when Lizzie was the outreach coordinator, going in groups, taking a Saturday, a weekend, going door to door in our neighborhood, and that fell flat on its face.
Mm,
Nobody wanted to do that, so
mhm.
I could be suggested.
No, I agree with you. That's, that's gonna fall in that, and please don't misunderstand me. I'm not trying to misspeak, but that will scare people like having the Jehovah's Witnesses walking around on a Saturday. And nobody wants their privacy invaded. Well, not, I shouldn't say nobody, but few people want that to, be part of what they're doing on Saturday. Dolores, I don't have an idea. I mean, I do have an idea, but it's going to be very hard to pull off. 3 or 4 years ago, Raheem and I put together a big softball thing. I don't know if you remember that. And we
I
did
remember.
yeah, and I thought that worked. And what I had really wanted to do was make that a yearly event and have it grow, and maybe have Kenny Heights against UNNC, or bring in some kind of competition between the neighborhood councils to kind of make this thing a little bigger than it was and encourage the community to participate. Unfortunately, I don't have the kind of time now to plan something like that. It's bigger than my agenda will allow me to do right now. So
Well, that's the problem. Who's going to head it up? Because I don't
I
have the
understand.
time to do that
No.
either.
I understand. That's why I said my frustration is, well, if the question is put back to me, what are you going to do about it? I have to keep my mouth shut because I don't want to fail, and I don't want to take on something that I can't succeed at. But I do want to express the fact that I think we need to do something. And this is what the committee is here for, is to kind of seed some ideas that we can grow into something. And so that's all I have to say about it. But I want to do something about it. I just don't know how.
I have a response to that, but you had your hand up, Teresa.
Yes, I did. Thank you, Dolores. I have a couple of comments. First of all, let me just help you understand about the decision that the board made about allowing board members to participate via Zoom, Michael. That was not to discourage community participation, but to allow us to continue to reach quorum and allow board members to participate on Zoom if they chose, just like you're doing tonight. If there's a situation comes up and you have childcare responsibilities or work responsibilities, you can still participate via Zoom. Had nothing to do with discouraging community participation. Now, I will say, as someone who recently put on an engagement for the council district, mind you, regarding trees, not many people showed up to that event, including you, Michael, who lived 2 blocks from the church where it took place.
Where was this? I wasn't aware of it. I wasn't aware.
This is a really good example. Dolores had been posting it on all our social media. I had talked about it at at all of the neighborhood council meetings that I could go to, not just the governing board meeting, this meeting, all of them. When I spoke to the consultant who is working with the city on community engagement, one of the things they said is that when someone knows someone personally, they are more likely to come out and support something. So maybe we need to encourage the people that we do know personally to come to the meeting. And another thing that, Michael, you may not be aware of is Donna Jones has 25 to 30 people every single month at her meeting. Now,
Yes.
Last month I wasn't there. I'm not sure if you showed up.
I was there.
Oh, okay. But she consistently has 25 to 30 people at that meeting. Now, sometimes she has city officials come in to talk about different things, or she's talking about something that's relevant, to the community. So it could be maybe we need to have things that are more of interest to individual participants or individual community members. But I want to say that I think Dolores is doing an excellent job. She could, I'm sorry you're not following us on Facebook or Instagram or any of our other social media, but I feel that for what her design of what she wanted to do with her chairmanship, she's done an excellent job. And if you have other ideas, hey, in June or July when we do the new
Resource thing.
yes, feel free to step up and build your committee and chair it the way you want. There's, everybody, that's the good thing about democracy. Everybody can step up and do whatever they want to do.
Well, let me address what you just said. First of all, I don't think Dolores is doing a bad job at what she's doing, so please don't take it that way. One of the things that I've found that is missing is, first of all, when we used to do our block meetings once a month, we had a place that we went to that was not the South Seas House. There was food served, there was community participation. It's dwindling, and it will probably, in my opinion, continue to, because people are safe in their homes and they're not getting out. One of the reasons why I joined the neighborhood council was because we were meeting on Western and it was community participation. And I'm afraid, my fear is that it's going to dwindle to nothing because people are not committed to coming out to a meeting. Now, I don't know how we solve this. Please don't misunderstand me. I'm just bringing my frustration out in the open. And I'm not sure I have a solution either, but I'm just voicing a concern that I have.
I do have a comment. One thing I did was I went to other neighborhood councils and I went to just see how did their meetings go. I went to West Adams. I went to the neighboring one that we have right there, Nancy. I went to those just to see how those meetings went. And of course, that was, pre COVID. So what I wanted to do was see now, they do have them at the fire station, just to see how their turnouts are. That was some indication, see what are they doing? Trying to see how are they engaging their community. Because some people are more engaged in their community, some people just don't care, They'd have the Meet Your Neighbor events. Each area of UNNC had their own event, and it had food there, and they had told you about the different events and what was UNNC. We always had a really good turnout, even though we had some challenges with the city agreeing on, giving us the okay to have it at certain locations. But that was one way. So, maybe that could be just to look and see how other people are doing it and maybe getting some knowledge of how they're getting people to come to their meetings. Because when we were in Western, we did have a good turnout of people.
Right.
But now things have really changed a lot for a lot of people. And a lot of people are scared to go outside at night, and we have ours at night. And so, but a lot of people do have their meetings in the daytime, in the morning, sometimes in the Saturdays in the morning.
Yeah, that's what Park Mesa does. I've been to Park Mesa. I've been to Wank. I have a project that I'm developing in that area, not far from Wank, and they're at the community center. So, I'm not sure how we solve the problem, guys. I'm not. But I just know that if we continue the way we are, we're not going to grow the way we should.
A lot of the drop off from participation came from the lockdown with the pandemic.
Yes.
And we have not been able to find a way to build that participation back up. I know in Jefferson Park, we have a lot of apartment buildings, and there is a lot of turnover, especially in the building that's near my house and the building that's on Fourth Ave in Jefferson. There's a lot of turnover because there's always furniture on those corners when people are moving in and out. So at one point, we did a walkabout in those apartment buildings and went door to door, passing out our bags with information about UNNC in those bags. But now we're not allowed to do that in the apartment buildings. That was a way that we tried to reach some of our stakeholders. And Rosie's right. We had in each region, we had a meet and greet with our constituents where we either served breakfast or lunch. But we're having so many problems with the city now with regards to food service that a lot of people don't even want to deal with us anymore because of the hoops that the city makes everybody jump through. Nobody wants to do that. Insure the city on their insurance. The food service certificate, I can understand that, but when they start making all the vendors jump through hoops, then like the one where I talked to at the homeless place, he was telling me some things that was going on Laura was telling me a different set of issues that UNNC ran into in dealing with him. But then when I attempted to get food for our board meeting, then I ran into a problem with that. So there's a lot of issues that inhibit our ability to get the community out. But it's just, I guess it's just something that we have to work on.
And food definitely brings the people out.
Yeah.
But I do know, I think like maybe the last time I was actually on the board, they had stopped from, we used to have like really nice meals, and it was like, oh, you can't have meals. You can only have like trail mix and, little peanut butter bars, you can no longer serve food. And so, that's all the downside to it.
We used to have 20 and 30 people at our board meetings pre-COVID.
That's right.
Back when Rosie and Denise and Jeff Kemp was on our board.
Right.
When we were, like she said, when we were meeting at
Western.
the Western at Weston's office.
Right.
We had 20, 30 people, but since we don't meet there anymore, and we had the pandemic and the restrictions on the food service from the city, we've just had a huge drop.
I wondered,
I'm sorry, and you were talking about getting the community to come back out. We send the notices out about the board meetings. They don't even participate on Zoom. So I don't know what the answer is.
Maybe it's a location. What do you think? Maybe we need to find a more.
Philly Cafe is very popular. That just opened up. I know they do rent out their space. So maybe
Where's that?
an event there.
Your voice was breaking. Your voice was breaking up.
It's on 4th and Jefferson. Oh, I'm sorry. South LA Cafe. They're very popular in the community, and they do a lot of things in the community. They opened a location on 4th and Jefferson, right where those apartments are down at the bottom, and they do rent their space out, and they do catering and things like that. So possibly having something there maybe would garner some more people.
Let me ask a question. It presents a two-sided coin. If I would propose, or if someone would propose, that we did not necessarily have all our meetings at a singular location, would we create confusion within the community where someone could legitimately say, I can never figure out where you guys are going to be?
Yeah, that's a possibility. But if you, let's say, do something there that could bring the community out, it's worth a try. Even if it was a meet and greet your board members. Just like when they first opened up, they had a nice, pretty good amount of people there. Or even at Johnny's Pastrami, just somewhere where you could bring them out and at least get a chance to talk to them. And then let them know this is what we're doing, this is who we are, here's some information, join us on this day at this time on our different board meetings and our organization meetings.
We could solicit a mailing list from the people that are in attendance and start to build some momentum that way.
Teresa?
Thank you. Rosie, the South LA, the cafe, they did not reach out to anybody on the board. They didn't reach out to anybody in UNC. Laura received an invitation, a private invitation that said, please do not share. So she didn't. So we did not know anything about that. We certainly would have promoted it. We would have attended that. Laura was the only one, and she said she didn't share it because it said do not share. Also, when we were talking about having UNNC meetings, there's a checklist, because I happened to be with Laura as we went to that facility. This one was already cleared. It has to be ADA compliant. It has to have fire, smoke detectors. There's a list of things. So I don't know if it would necessarily mean that people would get confused, but it certainly would be an additional responsibility to make sure that every one of those locations met those requirements. Right. I think when, Michael, did you participate in the survey that Hunter put out?
Yes.
There was an idea on the survey we recently did a survey to all the board members, and there were several really good ideas. He didn't come tonight to present it, but one of them was meet your neighbors, which I thought that's a great idea. One was to do, meet the nonprofits in your neighborhood. We could have an event where all the nonprofits come out and have tables. One was to have a dog parade. I thought that was great. We require a little bit more, but with something we certainly could do on 25th.
People love their
They
dogs.
do, and we could, it's easy, 25th, it's easy to block off because we don't get that much traffic, but, so there are some good ideas on there, but that might be another way to generate
See,
community interest and let.
I answered that survey with what I didn't term as what would be, actually the term just came to me just now, something that would be more like a lawn fete, where maybe we could have it at Benny Potter Park and we could do cornhole games and games with the kids and do something like that we would sponsor, where we could cook food and make it a neighborhood picnic, for lack of a better term. But, something like that is hard to pull off. And getting the community to participate is just something to get people back into the fold. That's all I'm thinking about.
Last year, we had the West Adams Avenues. Once again, Michael, I don't know if you showed up or not, but we had Coffee with the Cop. We had over 100 people participate.
Mhm.
So there are things that we could do at Benny Potter Park where people will show up. They certainly came out for that. We had refreshments and pastries and lots of police officers from the Southwest Division, from 77th, the traffic police officers were here, the park rangers for the Benny Potter Park. So there are activities where the people will come out and participate.
We had Coffee with the Cops at Starbucks on the corner of Western and Jefferson, and information was put out to the neighborhood. 6 people, including myself, showed up. So it just depends. I think up here in this area, these are long-term residents and they're engaged about the community, whereas as in other parts of our footprint, like I said, a huge turnover, a lot of Spanish-speaking residents that are not engaged.
Mhm.
So I don't know. Different culture, different. And on my particular block, I have passed out those bags with information in it. Walked myself, and I hate that because I got arthritis in my ankles. Walked door to door and put those baskets on their doors or either their fences if it wasn't gated, along with welcome to the neighborhood letter that I put together myself, talking about the CPAP meeting, talking about UNNC meeting, talking about different resources within the neighborhood, what days the garbage is picked up, just all kinds of stuff about our community. And I have not seen one of those people participate online in our meetings, not one.
And that Starbucks has a long line all day long. In the morning when I go to work,
Yep,
when I come home.
free coffee and pastry, and none of them showed up. So
when was this? I got a Saturday morning, Dolores? Sunday
on
morning?
Saturday, yes.
Yeah.
And I will tell you that the HPOZ, James, my husband James is on the HPOZ, and they did a flyer. This was about a year ago. They did a flyer, and all 5 board members got out and took a different area, and they walked out. They knocked on the door, talked to neighbors, told them about HPOZ, and the ones that weren't there, they left the flyer. So, I know no one wants to. Michael mentioned not wanting to walk on a Saturday to do that, but they. Yeah.
So at any rate, it's 8 o'clock, just about.
Wow. Thank you
So-
for listening.
Rosie is going to get back with me with a list of businesses. Maybe we can have something regarding businesses on Jefferson. And also to check about those agencies that will do the fruit thing,
Yeah.
the vegetable thing. And then you're gonna check on those logos
Yes.
and send an email to us.
I will ask.
And
I will put everybody on it. I will talk to him tomorrow and ask him to send us the the
Okay,
design elements that.
All right.
Perfect.
and I will continue to follow up with city departments to participate in the resource day.
And I will also find out from the city clerk about food truck approvals and what documentation is necessary.
Is there anything you would like to contribute, Michael?
Well, I was just thinking about the idea of multiple locations for our meetings. It's up my alley to evaluate the sites for compliance, and I would be willing to do that.
You also have to remember that our meetings have to be online, so that means toting the equipment around to all these different meetings, and that may not be feasible for some locations.
Okay.
You know, I did say that we could have in-person meetings. I think that was one of those, that amendment I made to allow for in-person, hybrid, or Zoom. So you can have one or the other of those three things.
I just want to see the community come out, that's all. I want to see more community participation. That's all,
Okay. Is there anything else? Nothing left on the agenda?
not that I know of.
Okay.
No.
Meeting adjourned.
Okay, thank you.
Good night.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.